Hey guys, it's Jesse from Roofing Goats. This video is going to be about one of the most common issues which causes insurance claims to be denied, and I see it on almost every roof that I inspect. It's so common, but it happens so much. Whenever there's a roof with an issue, it's one of the first things I look out for. What that specific issue is a material being installed at the wrong pitch. So I have with me a digital level finder, and it tells me the exact angle of every roof. So it's really, really handy. And so what you'll find is with different roofing materials, you have different minimum pitches. And so you can look through the manufacturer's guidelines to find most of these minimum pitches. And the thing is, if you don't meet these minimum pitches, you're not going to be eligible for insurance, or your claim is going to be significantly less strong than if you had the right roof. Like, I've seen people get denied, and I've seen people barely scratch their way through, but it's not something you really want to play with. And so you need to know that this is actually a really big issue, and you need to make sure that you're getting the right material installed on your roof. Because frankly, like, there's the insurance play as well, but if you have the wrong material at the wrong pitch, let's say you have Colorbond corrugated and it is at too low of a pitch, that's actually going to cause draining issues, and it's actually going to deteriorate your roof much faster than if it's installed properly. Like, these the manufacturers specify minimum pitches for a really, really good reason.
So the video starts to lag just a little bit around this point. It does get better, but just warning you, it does start to lag a bit. The content's fine, the audio's fine, just the video is a little bit laggy.
So for concrete tiles and terracotta tiles, you're looking at about 15 degrees. Slate can go lower to around 10 degrees. Custom orb, which is the standard product for Colorbond, that's just regular corrugated, that's 5 degrees. So if you look, 5 degrees is like that. Okay. So for corrugated, it's 5 degrees. For trim deck, you're looking at about 2 degrees. And for clip lock, you're looking at 1 degree. So if you've got a really flat roof, the typical install material that you should be using is clip lock. Okay. And that's 1 degree pitch. But even then, even if you have like a 1 degree roof and it's done properly, I've even seen situations where between the roof spans, between the battens, there's been issues where the roof has been stepped on or something. So the pitch is not uniform. It sort of goes down, and that'll cause issues as well. So ideally, you want to have a large pitch. 1 degree is what is the minimum that's stipulated with clip lock. But if you can go even like a little bit more than that, you're going to see that's going to be a payoff for you. You might be wondering, why is clip lock allowed to go 1 degree and Colorbond corrugated, like the standard corrugated, is 5 degrees? Why is it such a big difference? And the reason has to do with how effective the clip lock is at getting rid of water, first of all, but also the fact that it's concealed fix. So with stuff like corrugated, it's pierce fix, which means everything has to be screwed into the roof. And those screws present a possible point of failure, a point of entry for the water to get in. And water pools around them, and over time, it's less effective than something like clip lock, where you can concealed fix and there's no screws for which the water can go into. So here comes the problem. Most home and content insurance policies in Australia, they require that your home is designed and built without faults. So if you read that, what it means in practice is if you lodge a water claim because of water leaking through your roof and your roof is installed improperly, a lot of the time they'll deny that claim completely. So you want to make sure this is completely done. So this one's a house that I actually just visited yesterday, and I want to point out over here, we had, this is corrugated Colorbond, and if you zoom in to look at the pitch, it's 4.6. So it doesn't seem like a really big issue because it's 5 degrees, but this could still be denied under insurance because it's not actually pitched correctly. This roof was also not installed with a long enough span, so they've had to extend it. And instead of putting a proper flashing for the overlap between the tiles and the Colorbond, they just put an extra sheet of Colorbond. So this is not a very good install at all. Also at the front of the house, we had 1.83 degrees instead of 5 degrees. So this is going to be denied if anything goes wrong with this roof. And it's super common to see installers put corrugated on whatever pitch, but it's not correct. It's not the right way to do things. This should have used clip lock because it's 1.83 degrees, or they should have raised the pitch and used trim deck. This is another house that I've been to where they have the wrong material. Here you can see they have 4.8 degrees on the custom orb. Also, you can see in this roof, they actually have clip lock that's been installed, and it looks to be fine, 2 degrees, right? In some areas, and clip lock needs 1 degree. But you can see at certain areas, if I zoom in here, you can hit 0.6 degrees, and that's the reason this roof is so dirty and it's so rusted. It's because in certain areas, water's actually just pooling and it's just staying there. So this is an example of trim deck installed at 0.9 degrees. This is the wrong pitch for trim deck. It needs to be at least 2 degrees. And you can see this roof is not that old. It's about 30 to 40 years old, and a metal roof should be lasting up to about 60, 70 years if installed correctly. And this was not installed correctly. So you can see they've had issues along the screws. They've just siliconed everything up. And you can see a lot of these screws are just severely rusted, and water's definitely getting into these. And they've tried to fix the issue with putting silicone, but that's a temporary fix and it's not going to work for very long at all, especially on a roof which is pitched incorrectly, because you're going to get more water, more elements attacking that roof over here. So you can see the condition of this roof because it's been installed incorrectly. It's also been installed with undersized sheets that have been put together with silicone. The homeowner had severe water coming into the home. So this is another house that I went to where they have trim deck installed. The trim deck is installed at 1.5 degrees. Again, trim deck needs to be 2 degrees. Also, the span between the battens was a little bit too long. So in this case, the material used was very, very thin. And obviously the homeowner has stepped onto the roof because, as we can see over here, between the span, you have dirt, which is just accumulating. So 1.5 degrees is across the whole roof. That's what the roof is when you look at it as a whole. But if you look at specific areas, you can see it actually dips, okay? And the water pools and stays there. And whenever you have that, you have huge potential for leaking because the water's just staying there. This is one of the most common issues that I see on roofs. Pretty much, it's actually more the rule than the exception that when I step on a roof, I expect to see things that are not pitched correctly. That's why it's so important to pick installers that know what they're doing, that are fully insured, and that are going to take care of you so that things like this don't happen. And when you do have to make an insurance claim, you have that with confidence. Thanks so much for watching. Make a comment below if you want me to make any specific video, and I'll see you later.